Hi folks, welcome back to the Horde. So it's about 5 o'clock, the 21st, Monday, 20.2 degrees. See, my batteries are back to charging. That says 70 degrees. And not that you care, but 68, 67, 66. So this is as far as I've got with the lift. And obviously, right, nice and parallel. Down it goes. Up it goes. What I did with it in the up mode, up as it is now, I put all my weight here. I basically put my 220 pounds across this so that the pressure was feeding down through that and it did not tip. So I got that geometry about correct. Though it'll be a little more interesting when it's further down. Well, actually, I guess there'll be more weight up front too, right? Because there'll be an all-terrain vehicle on it. So I guess that's probably about the worst case scenario. I think we'll find out when we load it up and try to do something with it. So you guys could see this goes up and down manually. I've spent a few minutes trying to figure out what I'm going to do with the center post and how to do these angles here. When the hoist is pulling, right, there's going to be a lot of tension on this thing pulling it toward me, right, pulling it toward the camera. So I've been trying to figure out what best angle to brace it at and how to brace it the best. But you can't brace it to nothing. You got to brace it to the frame. And if I just brace it to this cross member here, right, I think it's just going to bend it. So I went to the Horde and I found these pieces of metal, right? So I'm figuring if I work this out such that I run a weld all along here and all along here, as there's pressure on this, same with this, eh? So all there and along here, as I push on this, I got these huge plates that should take up the stress. I have considered for the centerpiece here, just to make a life a little easier, the thing with the wheel on it. Quiet you. I got an attack cat coming at me. Go kill a mouse. I was considering taking that and just putting that over this little piece right here to reinforce it. Now, depending on how far down I slide this bar, once again toward the camera, right, it gives me a stronger angle, which will make this whole affair stronger, which is positive. And I'm just noticing here, right, as this thing lowers down, right, I have to make sure I don't crash into this thing. Probably better showing it to you from a sideways angle. As I sneak around things here. Once again, as this thing comes down, right, you don't want this piece at the cross brace, and it appears as if I really have no danger of that. It keeps moving away fairly quickly. So, and I'm trying to figure out how far out I should go, because I'd also like this strong enough so that when I pull back on it, I can move it around. I guess what I'm considering doing is having one post upward, this post upward, and then two posts, one going down on each side, down to that. I think that'll give me the most strength. I dug out the winch. There's the winch, 2,000 pounds. It does not have a remote control, as in wireless. One has to push buttons to run it up and down. I have to figure out, once again, even the best way to mount it. Probably I'll flatten this out and set it right up here. I think that'd be the best way, and just have it pull the cable, have it come up. I got to figure out if I'm going to put some kind of locking situation on here or not. It says the winch self-locks. So, and I think I'm going to set it up so that it basically comes up and it's tied up against here. I don't want it to come too far back though, because if these things go more than vertical, what I'll have to do is give it a push to get it started going down, though that's not that big a deal. So this is what I got so far. The whole thing appears that it's going to work. Once again, I put my 200 pounds out here in the center of this, which is kind of a worst case scenario, right? From a moment, putting a lot of stress right here, and it seemed to take it. If I have a piece of metal welded all around on this thing, I think that'll help distribute the weight a little better, right? So even as I'm leaning here, it'll be across the whole thing, and the metal even support it part way up. So I think a metal top would make it stronger. I'm trying to figure out how thick the metal top should be, because when I put a bike on here, right, a three-wheeler, I have the front wheel sitting right here, let's say. Well, pushing down on the metal right here, which would have a tendency to pull this in, right, and to pull in from both sides. I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking it. It's not going to be sheet metal. It'll probably be 16 gauge. So I'm thinking of putting that here. I guess I'm trying to debate whether I'm going to have to support it underneath or not, to make sure that it's not going to flimsy up on me. One of the things I'm already not in love with, this piece of metal here. See how it's sticking up 1 inch? I went to the Horde and I deliberately picked something that was only 1 inch L. Because as you lay it down, right, now I got a 1 inch L to trip over. When there's the weight of the quad on it, the thing will settle right down. So that's what it looks like flat. Yeah, I'm debating for across here whether I'm going to keep this L or perhaps go with a piece of rectangular tubing, so to speak, like 1/2 inch by 1 inch. So that'll drop that down, be less to trip over. Also, this is kind of a nasty thing from a watch me hurt my foot point of view. So I'm still debating. The other thing I'm thinking of doing is perhaps cutting this off of here again and knocking the top of it off, right? Cut the top and cut that over there. Then once again, it'll just lie flat. It'll go in between. So all my great thoughts, right? So this is as far as I've got. So you guys can see there's more work. So the lift, ladies and gentlemen, the lift. There's a person who made one of these. He hacked it together out of scrap metal. DUARTE, I think is his. He's one of the people I've subscribed to. Duarte, DUARTE. He built one of these, but he made it out of scrap. And he didn't put. I think he threw it together. He says even as he's running it up and down that he didn't tighten the bolts, and that he lifted a heavy Polaris with it, and he kind of screwed up one of the mounts here. But he, like in my case, I'm pressing down on the mounts, and welding them just kind of keeps everything in one place. I'm not sure. I'm going to have to watch his videos again to see how exactly he did it. Yeah, I'm not sure how he did these various things. He did say he was having some trouble with this springing on him, that the stress, once again, picture as the cable's pulling up on this, how much, stress there's going to be on this, right? I'm also thinking of, he ran the cable just to here, and he was pulling on this point. I was thinking of running the cable all the way underneath and all the way to the back, so that when you initially tighten the cable, it'll kind of pop this up, and then depending on how it's pulling, if the back has a tendency to sag a little, I think it'll work better that way. I think, So you guys could watch it come up, and it's working in a manual way, obviously. So that's where I am. I think there's a good place to stop, because just to show you, this is an extra piece of the bigger box that I have kind of clamped on here. I got tabs on both, because obviously I need this to be strong, right? I can't fool around. This has to be a strong joint. Now when it's pulling on this, mostly it's going to put a down force and a forward force, though when I want to kind of pull back on this and lift up the whole affair, that's when I'm going to use that, or when it's going to pull it up, right? So this is about as far as I've gotten. Any suggestions? Once again, I'm willing to listen. A lot of times, I hope you guys don't think I ignore your suggestions. Mostly what I do is I listen to all the suggestions, and then take what's floating around in my mind and add them all together and come up with what I think the best solution. Yeah, I'm thinking of like one of those there, obviously not wood, then a second one here like this, and it's probably best if they go more or less to the top. I also got to kind of put this thing on here and see which way it's going to sit best, whether I should consider perhaps coming up and going a little bit past with this. By going a little bit past, that'll help me put together a table on top, right? So, just thinking out loud. Yeah, after seeing Duarte. I think I'm saying it right and spelling it right. If I'm not, please, I mean no insult. I'm just trying to state, get an idea across. I'm not trying to get an insult across. But his problems appeared. He wasn't having trouble with this. He seemed to be having a lot of trouble with this bending. So I'm thinking all that plating and so forth will help with that. I want to put the plating on this side because as I'm pulling downward, right, I don't want to just put the stress there. I want to put the stress between here, right? I want to create a triangle. Triangles are strongest. Arcs are nice and strong, right? The Volkswagen. So I think it actually kind of looks cool as I sneak in and out through holes and so forth. Like when it's down. Right? It's nice and flat. I gotta work on this some more. This isn't gonna, that piece up high like that isn't gonna work. But it sits down nice and flat. And though there will be, the triangle of support here, right? One of these on that side, one on that side, and a motor on top. It is kind of long. You guys can see how long it is. I think it's all coming together pretty good. It actually, and those moons there, those arcs actually look pretty cool. This came from a scrap pile. I picked this and some other metal up for $10. And once again, with the arcs, I figured that'll look cool. I'm also going to leave the metal ragged. I like that appearance. So you can see the probably he used plasma to cut that. It doesn't look like it was a torch. I think he plasma cut it. Don't know. With it up, a bike can sit on it, and then another bike could go underneath it. For I think it was 231 Flash said, don't build it and then load it with crap. I'm paraphrasing, but I think he said that. I don't know. Does having a bike under it and a bike on top of it equal to loading it with crap? If the answer is yes, I might be guilty of loading it with crap. Okay, folks, thanks for watching. Thanks for commenting. Thanks for subscribing. And remember to keep your feet down and your head up. And we'll catch you guys up on the next episode of The Horde. Bye now.